Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial. Now in this video you're going to learn how to get nice, tall, sturdy, straight sponges as a foundation for those beautifully decorated cakes. Now first of all you need some good tins. I like to use Invicta, and to line these tins really well, something that bakes nice and evenly and already has a good height on it because we're baking quite large sponges in each tin. You also need a nice sturdy sponge recipe that is designed for baked cakes that are decorated or covered in fondant. You can purchase my recipe in the links below. This is best for UK bakers as all the measurements will be in grams, and this recipe you can add orange essence, vanilla, lemon. The options are quite endless so that you can customize it to your taste. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to weigh our mixing bowl with no ingredients in it, and we're going to write this on our bowl with a Sharpie or on a notepad, and then I will make up my cake batter and then weigh the bowl with the batter. Then I'll deduct the weight of my mixing bowl from this final weight and divide it by the number of tins that I'm baking in. This will allow me to have equal amounts of batter in each tin, equaling a more level bake at the end. So if you do purchase my recipe card in the link below, this will be a recipe for a tall 8-inch sponge cake made up of 3 layers. When it comes to baking these cakes, sometimes you might find that you get this big volcano peak on your cakes, which is so frustrating, and that will mean that your oven is too hot. So a temperature gauge is perfect to make sure the oven is the right temperature. I'd also suggest not overloading your oven, so make sure there's plenty of air that circulates around all of your tins. You might have to load your tins one at a time. Now when it comes to slicing the cake, I'm not a big fan of these cake slicers. I much prefer a long serrated knife because you'll find with the sturdier bakes for decorating, you're going to have a little bit of a thicker crust and a more dense sponge. Still fluffy, still soft, but a little tighter. So now I'm looking for the lowest part of my sponge, and this is where I want to cut into. You're looking for the lowest part on the top of your cake. Take your hand and sturdy the top of the cake, and then we're going to start making small incisions and small cuts at the edge of the cake, spinning around as we go. You can do this on a table. You don't need a turntable, so whatever way you are more comfortable, just go with that. And as we're turning the cake around, I'll slowly get into the middle and then meet onto the other side so that I can cut the entire top off. Don't worry if you have to come back away and correct your cuts so that it does meet the other side. That's absolutely fine, no problem at all. We'll just keep going round and making sure that we're trying to keep that knife as level as we can until we cut the top crust. So you'll see here, it's not perfect, and that's why we keep going in, but we're taking a little bit off at a time. So I'm going to go straight back in, come down so that I'm eye level with the cake and I can see where I want to cut, and then start to slowly take off a layer again. So if you make sure that you just do a little bit at a time, you're never going to run the risk of taking off way too much of your cake, because it's so frustrating when you have these beautiful tall sponge layers and then by the time you've cut them down, there's like not much left at all. So just go in a little bit at a time, keep coming back down eye level and checking that, making sure that it is where you want it to be. But then what we'll do is we'll stick a cake card the same size as the cake on top of the sponge, and I will put this spirit leveler on top. Now as you can see, the bubble is leaning really to the left, so I know that my cake is not level and that the left side is coming up quite a lot. So I'm going to go back in with my knife. Now I'm going to start again from the right hand side, but I'm not adding a lot of pressure, and I'm slicing until I get to that left hand side where I really start to intensify the pressure that I'm putting down on the knife so that I can slice off that high edge on the left. And I'll keep going, coming back down eye level, checking how it looks until I'm ready to put my cake card back on and check with the spirit leveler. And now the bubble should be in the middle. Do this for every layer of sponge and you will definitely have a level cake